Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today I have our first run impressions of a brand new shoe from Nike. This is the Nike Turbo Next Percent Nature. The Turbo was a range of shoes that were brought out, I think, in 2018 and were one of my first pairs of running shoes. I didn't use the original version. I think I had the Turbo 2. And for anyone who doesn't know the Turbo range from Nike, it was one of the best running shoes that Nike have ever brought out. To the point where there were rumours that it was discontinued because it was such a versatile shoe that people weren't buying sort of the premium racing shoes. They were just choosing to race in the Turbos. But fast forward a couple of years, and they've now brought out a new version of the Turbo range. Now this is the Nature version. Interestingly, with this shoe, Nike have pledged that it is made with 50% recycled content, which I think is great. It's certainly the way forward. I'd like to see other shoe companies trending. I know that is a lot of companies are trying to be more sustainable, but for companies such as Nike, 50% in shoes is a really, really good start. So let's jump into some stats, some key figures about this shoe, the Next Percent Turbo Nature. So we've got a 10mm drop from heel to forefoot, 32 in the heel, dropping to 22. Now that's quite a relatively low stack height for shoes nowadays. This shoe came out, like I said, in 2018. So we've had a lot of shoe advancements since then. So I'm wondering whether maybe this shoe is a little bit outdated now, but obviously today we'll give it a good test and find out. The midsole is made with this recycled Zoom X. So I'm not sure how this sort of recycled version is going to compare to the non-recycled one. Some people have said that performance-wise, it's not quite as good as the Zoom X found in the Vaporfly and the Alphafly, but again, we'll test that this morning. We've also got a carrier foam here in the midsole, just to add a little bit of durability. You can almost see where the shoe segments there. This area on the heel and the very underneath, sort of very bottom layer of this shoe is that carrier foam, just to protect that Zoom X and offer a bit more durability to the shoe. In my UK size 7.5, it weighed 259 grams. I put it on the scales this morning, which as shoes go, that isn't necessarily super lightweight, but it isn't on the heavy side of things. I'd say that's slap bang in the middle. I chucked the Hoka Mach 5 on the scales as well, which is a very lightweight shoe from Hoka, and that was 219. And I think the Nike Invincible in my size weighs around 300, maybe 320 grams. So it's sort of slap bang in the middle. It's not light, it's not heavy. I'd say that's pretty average. And I do know from looking back in the archives, this is a little bit heavier, about 20 grams heavier than the Turbo 2 in my size. So again, something to note. Moving on to the upper, we've got a nice fly knit. I've put the shoe on my foot, walked to the shops, and this upper feels incredible. Really, really good lockdown from the lacing system. We've also got this sort of blue ribbed, sort of almost cage-like structure to the shoe that wraps around the foot. Again, really helps with that lockdown, going through those eyelet chains there on the laces. That's the key stats for this shoe. I am down here in Canvey Island this morning to meet up with my teammate Luke. We're going to take this shoe, we're going to do a warm-up, followed by our last session before our last track race of the season down in Bedford this weekend. I'm racing a 3K and Luke will be racing the 1500. So the session is, we're going to do a warm-up around this sort of grassy area here in Canvey Island, and then we're going to jump on the track. I've got a mile threshold, followed by 10 by 200 meters at around 1500 meter pace, followed by a mile threshold and a cool down. So it'll be a good test for the shoe, some easy running, some tempo / threshold work, and some out and out speed. I've not brought any other shoes with me this morning, so I'm forced to do all of the training in this shoe, and I will give you my first impressions when I get back to the car in about an hour and a half's time. Hello, hello, hello.
What?
Good morning.
How we doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How you doing?
All good.
Ready to rock?
Absolutely.
Go.
Yeah,
So here we are, we just made it down to Canvey Island, probably the worst kept track in Essex, but the only free one that we have access to. Luco over here, getting spiked up. He is, spiking up for the session. I'm sticking with the turbos, turbo natures. I'm going to do the threshold and the 200 meter reps in these. Give them a proper test this morning. Just did our 3 kilometer warm up and they felt all right. It's hard to tell on grass. Definitely haven't blown me away on the first run, but I think they're going to be a pretty good daily trainer. We'll see how they fare over some speed stuff. Threshold done, 5:06 for the 600 meters, just short of the mile. We're just going to jump into the 10 by 200. Coach said no quicker than 32 seconds, so that's going to be the aim. What do you reckon, 33, 34 for the first few? Yeah. And then just ease into it. Right, go for it. Under 5 minutes, I think.
Beautiful. Nice work.
So there we go, we just finished the session down at Canvey. I did a mile threshold, 10 by 200 with Luke. How did you find the 200s?
Yeah, all good. Nice and smooth. Ready for Sunday?
Exactly that. Yeah, we were under strict instructions. Well, I wasn't, but Luke was from his coach, not to go under 32. And I think we pretty much did that. I think
one or two
were just slightly under, but there was a bit of wind on the track, so we'll blame the tailwind on those fast reps.
Touche.
I think we had one rep which was 33, but yeah, I think that was my fault, so don't blame Luke for that one. And then finished it off with a mile threshold at the end there, just as I move up the distance more towards half marathon training. Just want to get a little bit more threshold work in when I can, but overall really good session. Enjoyed that one. Good job. So I'm back from my session on Canvey Island in the Turbo Natures. Before I talk about the shoe, first let me show you this awesome new hoodie that I've got from novo artem. This is a brand that was set up by my housemate Amelia, and she has just brought out this new hoodie. So I said I would put it in my YouTube video, so if you want to go and check it out. This is the back of the hoodie. And she's kindly offered a 10% discount code to all my followers. She's completely designed this, had it made in Portugal, and yeah, it looks awesome. I'm really excited to be wearing it, and I'll feature it a lot more in the next few videos. But yeah, look at that back, it looks wicked. If you want to pick it up, then I'll leave a link down below. You can use Ben10 for 10% off, all capital letters. But anyway, let's jump into the turbos. This will be just a first impressions review, and I'll do a more full review in the next few weeks after I've had time to put a few more miles in this shoe. So at easy paces, yeah, I wasn't necessarily blown away. It didn't feel like it was anything special. It just felt like a sort of daily trainer. It was very comfortable, and there's a good amount of cushioning in the heel, which I really like for a daily trainer. You want something that's nice and comfortable for those miles. And then when I took it onto the track, I started off with a bit of threshold work, and then we did some quicker reps at around 1500 meter pace. And I would say at threshold, this is when this shoe really came into its own. So as I started picking up the pace, I could feel that midsole sort of giving me something back. It wasn't necessarily like a really soft and bouncy ride like some of the Nike super shoes have. It feels a little bit firmer, but the energy return was still really good. And at that 200, in those 200 meter reps, yeah, it felt really good. And I was pleasantly surprised. It almost feels like the Nike Streak Fly, but it's a little bit, I'd say it's a little bit firmer. So it is going to be suited more for daily trainers, daily training, especially on those runs where you want to pick up the pace a little bit. Overall, I was really impressed with the Nike Turbo Nature. I think from the previous iteration, the Turbo 2 and the original had a lot to live up to. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I started picking up the pace at how good this shoe felt, and I think it's going to be an excellent addition to my rotation. It's got a little bit more of a sort of ground contact feel, which I'm sort of missing in my shoes, especially for ones that I want to do some speed work in. And I know when I move from this shoe up into, say, the Vaporfly or the Alphafly, I'm going to really notice the benefit when it comes to race day. So for training, for those quicker miles, as well as those daily easy miles, this is going to be a great shoe. And I think at £144, £145, that's a good price point. But yeah, like I said, I'll give you a more full review in the next few weeks once I've had time to put a few more miles into it. But until next time, aspire to run, run to inspire. Check out these organic cotton novo artem hoodies. There's only 50, so they're very limited edition, so make sure you get them quick if you are interested in supporting a small business, and we will see you again soon.